What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto summoned in Chaldea? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. I hereby purpose. I wanted their acknowledgement, their love, their care, I wanted to be one of them. Demon, monster, freak, why are you alive, when you killed everyone I love? But only their jeers and hatred greeted me. Only path I saw to win them over was to be the best among the best. The Hokage, my will shall create thy body. I tried so hard, but I failed over and over. I am sorry Naruto, but to graduate to become a genin of 3 bunshins are required, you failed. But I was given a small light of hope. You know Naruto, there is a way to pass the exam. What, really Mizuki-sensei? Tell me, please tell me. And thy sword shall create my fate. Naruto sneaked into the Hokage tower and just like Mizuki-sensei's instruction there was a large scroll labeled, Scroll of Forbidden Seal, in the old man Hokage's office. Knocking out the old perv was easy. Oiroke no jutsu, and the old man was down for the count. Abiding by the summons of the Holy Grail. By the time I reached the forest I found a good spot to read the scroll and the content shook me, literally. If thou dost accede to this will and reason, answer me. Huh? My eyes burned as I looked into the scroll and suddenly as if a dam was broken in my mind a stream of information flowed through me. Grail hatred power desire, everything greed death death death. Might over everything, seals runicarts, magic, fraga, root to reach the tree of the center, the world, Theon, the god, the universe, Theal, Andiamu, my name, servant summon, to be loved to be wanted to be free, swear an oath, heavenly guardian of the scale. I hereby swear, my brain recognized them as seals, but back of my mind whispered, runes, works of Uzumaki lives on, our eyes, your eyes, remove the veil that hid in thy, mystic eye of rune soul. I will be all that is good in the eternal world. At that moment I understood everything. It turned out the Uzumakis was once a clan with a bloodline to have a dujutsu to see and understand all seals or runes, but this ability was never manifested in several hundreds of years. To unlock it one must see a high-level seal made by an Uzumaki of highest skill their generation and a divinity. My eyes told me that the seal I saw, the Shikifunen, was a work between an Uzumaki and another which tied itself to god of death, the Shinigami. Also, there were several other seals made far before Shikifunen that told me all their history. It seems my mystic eyes can tell me the history of the seal as well. Naruto saw several jutsus on the scroll and one particular technique called Kage Bunshin caught his eyes. His mind absorbed the jutsu instantly like it fit my mind perfectly. My eyes suddenly burned in agonizing pain as it told me more of my family. My clan before it was named Uzumaki, once served a war god. The god has rewarded our clan with vast knowledge, skills, and rather rare special chakra. These gifts can only be released in our own mental plane, which contain a library. Our blood itself was like a memory dump or a library which collects what the head of the clan has improved or discovered as well. All their discovery, achievements, and skills are in our blood, however without the rune soul one can only use the most earliest knowledge and not the improved knowledge of the clan heads. Family crest in blood, not crest. Vast books of knowledge filled my mind, arranging my mess of a brain into a top-class library. Among the knowledge that is understood was something akin to Kuchiyos no Jutsu, the art of summoning. But this was no mere summoning. No, summoning a mere animal familiar to do battle was common. Anyone skilled enough or luck enough is capable of doing this. However, this was something greater than life. It was to summon a heroic spirit from limitless time, space, and world. I know that old man Hokage cares and so do the Ichirakus, but I am alone. This is something my real family left behind and I won't be lonely anymore. With a servant I won't be alone anymore. It's cold, their stares, their words, their hatred, it is so very cold. Mizuki may show up at any moment. I immediately got to work. According to his eyes and blood which was filled with all the information the clan had, the servants are in 7 categories according to their skills. Saber the noble swordsman, Archer the all-seeing bowman, Lancer the most agile spearman, Berserker the mad monster, Rider the swift cavalry, Caster the wise, Assassin the he who hides in the shadow. Naruto pondered. According to his eyes the saber class is the most wanted and desired. However, he had no items or anchors to summon the heroes to this word. Only method left was to summon the most fitting servant according to his soul. His eyes showed him the most effective summoning circle and he got to work immediately. Naruto's seal was drawn on dirt using his kunai knife and blood. The circle was perfect and the symbols, strange in the eyes of common and uneducated men, was drawn. While the seal was crudely made for an Uzumaki, his eyes, unlike his deceased relatives, failed to have helped him to achieve greater result. I dropped my blood on the seal and pour my chakra onto the seal and the seal started to glow. I started my chants. And chant he did. Naruto, there you are. I looked up in the middle of my chanting and saw Iruka jumping down from a tree. Naruto, how dare you steal the scroll of the forbidden seal? And what are you doing? Oh, I am in a middle a summoning ritual, so please don't come any closer. Said Naruto. I will be the disposer of evil in the eternal world. What? A summoning? Never mind. Why did you steal the scroll, Naruto? Scolded Iruka. Do you have any idea how much trouble you are in? Shouted Iruka. Ah, Mizuki-sensei said that if I learned a jutsu from this scroll I could pass the test, but I found something better. Iruka-sensei, I had a family. A clan, Naruto said. Mizuki. Why would he? Iruka said. A whizzing sound came. Danger. Naruto, get out of the way. Iruka said as he shoved Naruto. Iruka-sensei. Wait, Naruto yelled. I am sorry. Iruka said as he had his back pierced by a giant shuriken. Fool. Protecting this monster, Mizuki said with a sneer. Nah, Naruto. Whatever you do, don't give him the scroll, Iruka said. Iruka-sensei, you need medical attention now. Shouted Naruto. Naruto. Do you know why you are hated by the village? Mizuki said. Naruto turned to him in anger. Mizuki, you can't. Iruka yelled. Why? Why am I hated? Naruto said. There is a law everyone know. Everyone but you, Mizuki said. Mizuki, stop. Iruka yelled. He coughed up blood. Everyone. But, why not me? Naruto asked. Because that law was regarding you, Mizuki said. Regarding me? Naruto said. He backed a bit. He stood back once more where he did his failed summoning. Yes. The reason you are hated is because you are the Kyuubi no Yoko that destroyed Konoha and killed Iruka's parents along with many more. Mizuki said. Naruto's legs gave on his weight. He shivered in anger, rage. It all made sense. Deep in his mind a beast stirred. Behind a caged bar a demon's opened his eyes. Oh, this feeling is. I see, Kushina, your hellspawn seems to be a rather interesting brat. However, the boy's power is still rather lacking to summon the grade 3 night class without an item. Long as I am trapped in here, my presents are too strong for him to select a servant most fitting for him. Growled the beast. Well, I might well as help him, just a little. After all, I refuse to bind to a weakling and a trash. Said the beast. Yes, the strongest servant might be perfect for his overflowing fury and rage, the beast muttered. The beast of raw charka and hatred closed his eyes, and with his limitless power he reached into the worlds beyond to bring something back. With his power to represent all anger, hatred, and madness, all such related to it, is his domain. By his power he can summon their power as his own property. Be grateful, you mongrel, I Kyuubi shall bless you with my glory and a worthy servant. In his paw was a chunk of crushed metal. The metal was black, darker than the night, and it's shaped like an egg, a crushed egg, or perhaps an old helmet. Foo, foo, foo. This is very interesting. A monster among monster. A servant among servant. Yes, shame, tragedy, guilt, betrayal, lust, and such delicious anger. This is perfect. A perfect monster. The Kyuubi muttered. He placed the helmet, or what it is left of it, on the summoning circle, a copy of the one in the real world, and started to chant. But let chaos cloud then eyes. The beast's eye was filled with amusement. Thou, who art trapped in a cage of madness. He licked his lip in anticipation. And I, who doth hold thy chains. Finishing the chant of berserk, Kyuubi smiled. It was no gentle simile. Have fun taming him, or die trying. He then closed his eye and returned to slumber. For now, outside in the real world, Mizuki and Iruka exchanged blows. Why do you protect him? Isn't he the demon who killed your parents? Mizuki asked. Yeah, I hate the demon with all my heart, Iruka said in honestly. Naruto, who was still standing in front of the seal, balled his fists. Even Iruka hated him. Yeah, I hate the demon, but not Naruto. He is clumsy and a bit dumb. But he is a hard worker, my student. No Uzumaki Naruto. He is a proud citizen of Konoha and our future Hokage. Iruka said. Naruto cried. Iruka-sensei, thou clad with the great trinity, come forth from the circle of constraint. Mizuki then readied himself to finish off Iruka, as he was about to throw his shuriken. Naruto rushed forth using his newly acquired knowledge to reinforce his limb and punched Mizuki away from Iruka. Touch Iruka-sensei, and I will murder you, slowly. Naruto said with his face with a snarl. Why, you idiot, I told you to run away. Iruka yelled. A punk like you I'll kill in one shot. Mizuki said. Try it, you piece of shit. I'll return the pain a 10,000-fold, Naruto said with a cold and steely gaze. No, a gaze of madness. Then do it, demon fox. Mizuki yelled as he jumped toward Naruto. Guardian of the heavenly scales. Naruto turned toward his incomplete seal and turned the back his hand toward it. His eyes glow and he shouted to the heaven. Thou clad with the great trinity, come forth from the circle of constraint. Naruto mythic eyes widened and his chakra spiked. His body was sing the song of war and his heart pumped in excitement for battle. Guardian of the heavenly scales, he finished. In instants all was silent. Then there was an explosion of dark blue light that blinded everyone. The light reached the sky where everyone in the Konoha could see them. The Sandaime saw the sudden blast of energy and had a shiver go down in his spine. Naruto-kun, meanwhile in Hidden Rain. What is it, Nagato? Asked Konan. Nagato, also known as God of the Omega Cure. The Pain looked out the window toward the surging energy. What could it be? Pain wondered. His eyes, the fabled Dujutsu Rinnegan, showed him a surge of energy that he never felt before. The corruptive dark energy that resembled the tailed beast power. This warrant an investigation, Zetsu, commanded Pain. Hi, Leader Sama, said the plant man. Go and investigate what this surge is now. Sure, why not? Replied Zetsu as the man disappeared into the earth. Valley of the End. A man in a black cloth with red clouds and an orange mask stared toward the land where lies Konoha. What is this? Interesting, pondered the man. His Sharingan flashed as he too vanished, breaking down the wall of space and time. Back to Naruto. Naruto wasn't sure if the summoning worked, but his eyes saw the seal activated and felt the burning sensation on his hand which represents his command seals. He felt someone in front of him and felt a connection with this being. However, roar. A great roar filled the forest as the smokes cleared and revealed the summoning. He was a majestic and frightening. The servant was in a black suit of armor. The armor was arranged in sharp black edges and ornate dark designs and lines. Naruto could see that the armor was emulating dark and evil intent which cover his entire being in black flame and air. From the knight's back hung several black strips of fabric with ornate black metal tips which seemed like a spear tip. The helmet was dark with a slit for eyes ending with cross-like markings on either side. The mouth area was covered as well in smooth layers of steel. From the back of the helmet a long dark blue ponytail-like ornament hung and it swirled ominously from the cold wind. Naruto instantly knew what he had to do. His eyes glow and told him to say it. I, Uzumaki Naruto, here stand before you, loyal my servant, slay my enemy, slowly. The Black Knight roared and turned to Mizuki. Mizuki was scared. In front of him was a monster that was releasing killing intent he never felt before. I was worse than the time he felt from Lord Orochimaru. He needed to run now. He turned to jump to the trees, but the knight ran toward him in blinding speed. He ran low and picked up a kunai on the floor and jumped after Mizuki. In his hand, unseen by the spectators, the kunai stared to grow dark vein and it became something greater than a simple knife. It for an instant became a noble phantasm. He flipped over Mizuki before he even realized that he was already caught and thrown the kunai in midair. The knife traveled in speed of a bullet, almost in a speed of sound, nailed Mizuki in the leg. And it continued downward through him to the ground. Bloom. As the kunai buried into the ground creating a small crater. Mizuki screamed in agony as he felt his leg twist and tear with a simple kunai attack, with his own abandoned kunai. The knight didn't seem to care. Following his master's rage and the everlasting rage of his prisoner, the berserker's mad enchantment had changed from rank C to rank A. Like a perfect killing machine, the knight held the man by his face and smashed him across a tree and thrown him to the ground few yards from him. Mizuki thought he was in agony before, now he begs to differ. His face was crushed and his entire body was broken. He lost control of his bladder in fear and was whimpering like a baby. Iruka saw his only best friend about to die and quickly turned to Naruto. "Naruto, you got to stop him," Iruka begged. "Huh? But why, Iruka-sensei? He tried to kill us," said Naruto. Naruto, we must bring him to Lord Hokage alive. Stop him, please," Iruka urged. But, oh, okay, I'll try," said Naruto. Naruto turned to his servant, who slowly walked toward his prey like a tiger to a deer. Naruto pointed toward him and shouted, "Servant, capture him alive." However, the beast ignored him. "Servant, I command you to stop." But it was heard by deaf ears, as Berserker didn't even turn to him. Why aren't you listening to me, servant? I am your master," Naruto shouted. Naruto's thought went 1,000 meters per hour as he tried to understand why his servant refused to obey him. He turned on his mythic eyes as it relayed massive information about the rules and summoning. This eye as a master showed him his servant's statues. His eye widened when he saw what he summoned. Berserker, the servant of madness and also depicted as the strongest servant. He somehow summoned the most uncontrollable hero from all the classes he could have summoned from. He panicked. From what he understands, this class of servants is very dangerous and hard to tame. They are known for their uncontrollable rage and power in exchange for intelligence. He thought he summoned a knight class because of his appearance and rather logical and skilled ability, but he was a berserker. He turned to his servant, who picked up a Fuma shuriken and raised above his head, ready to kill Mizuki. Naruto's eyes filled with determination. His glow in purple and red light and his chakra turned red. His voice filled with authority, strength, and most importantly charisma. He shouted, "Berserker, obey me and stand down." His command seal glow, but his did not faded. With seer will, resolve, guts, and minor unconscious use of his demon power, he commanded Berserker to obey without the command seal. Berserker stopped and turned to Naruto. He stared at Naruto for a while and bowed down. Naruto was exhausted from the fighting, the excitement, the truth, the summoning, and using his ME power to ordered Berserker. Iruka looked in wonder as his most troublesome student summoned a man, who destroyed Mizuki, and managed to control him. Summonings are known to disobey inexperienced summoners, but Naruto controlled him. "Take me and Iruka-sensei to the hospital in the village and turned Mizuki to the proper authority." "Wait," Iruka says suddenly. Naruto turns to him. Removing his head plate, he handed to Naruto. "Congratulations, Naruto, you are now a genin for performing a Junin level ninjutsu." Naruto stared at him and slowly smiled. "Thank you, Iruka-sensei." Iruka nodded as he fainted. Naruto faced his servant. "Until I am well, protect me, but don't kill anyone." Naruto fainted as he said this order and Berserker obeyed. He picked up his master rather gently for a Berserker class servant and roughly picked up Iruka over his shoulder. He vanished in burst of speed and head toward the village. He mind clouded with madness, but obeyed the order of a master who held too much power in his words that was akin to a command seal, or word of command mixed with charisma and royal authority. He dropped off his master and the wounded man in front of a startled nurse and vanished to pick up Mizuki as well. Using his master's knowledge and information from the Grail in some world far, far away, he dropped the traitor in the office of what he realized as an armed force. Hidden Anbu HQ. The Anbu captain was surprised when a man in armor cover from crown of his head and tip of his toe appeared and dropping off one of their own Chunin all bloody and injured. He didn't know where this intruder came from, but he knew where he is going now. "Protection squads detain him," the captain shouted. The assassins of the village hidden from the shadow burst out with ninjutsu in hands and ran toward Berserker in impressive speed, however. Roar! The Black Knight was faster. The armored man punched, kicked, and thrown his enemy to the wall, knocking them down easily. One Anbu landed a blow on the knight's shoulder, but his ninjutsu broke like a twig. Berserker grabbed the man from the side of his head and smashed him through the wall closest to him. He followed by a spin kick to another Anbu in midair, sending the poor operative to the nearest window. Berserker picked up a fallen ninjutsu and mastered it in an instant, cutting down the opposition. His swings were deadly and perfect, not a movement wasted, like a true assassin, a ninja. Berserker nailed the last Anbu on his shoulder and performed a perfect back kick to send him toward another one of his comrade. They enter the dreamland soon after. Surprisingly, all his men was broken pill of meat, but alive. The beast man turned toward last threat. They were pitiful against him, but he didn't care, for his mind was under the control of the word of command and the rank A mad enchantment. However, the fact his master ordered him to not kill have restrained his power to more safer as a berserker can get. Like a perfect killing machine, he rushed toward the captain, who was making seals for a jutsu to bind his attacker. Mokutan. Mokasatsu Shibari no Jutsu, smothering binding, shouted the captain. The blinding wood rushed toward Berserker, but he didn't care as he simply crushed the moving woods with his bare hand. The live trees rushed toward him, but with any weapons he found and corrupted he sliced through trees like butter. Honestly, what are mere spells and magic of a magus to a heroic spritz? The captain, also known as Tenzo Sweat, as the man in front of him, completely destroyed his squad of veteran ANBUs and his jutsu. The man's dark mist covered all his movement and he barely saw the fist heading toward him. He ducked from the blow, but nearly got stabbed by a knife. He picked up his own ninjutsu to block, but somehow the man's kunai cut through his Anbu-issued ninjutsu. Was his channeled by chakra? No, it is. He didn't get to finish his though, as the man's flying spin kick nearly took his head off. "What the hell are you?" shouted Tenzo as the masked man simple roared. He used all his speed to keep ahead of this man who seems to be a monster in human form. Berserker roared as he flipped in the midair to smash the little masked rat. It matters not for who the opponent is, all will destroyed by his rage. "Until I am well, protect me, but don't kill anyone." The madman tried to ignore the small voice, but the word carried heavy tone of authority, much like his old majesty. No, the once noble knight inside the berserker swore an oath. He shall remain in shame for his crime that his king for some reason forgiven him, and shall obey his new master like a slave should. He can face him or his old king, your majesty. Berserker rush, and Tenzo was too slow at dodge. If he can't dodge, he can only block. Tenzo immediately made the necessary hand seals for a defense jutsu. Mokutan. Mokajoheki, wood release. Wood locking wall. A curved wooden wall appeared protecting Tenzo from Berserker, or he thought it will. Roar. The knight simple smashed through the wooden wall filled with chakra and nailed Tenzo in the ribs. At least 3 to 4 ribs were broken. Tenzo smashed to the wall, while in agony he stuck to the wall and ran up to avoid Berserker's next attack. The Berserker roared as his eyes followed the nibble captain as the man prepared for a substitution jutsu. Berserker quickly picked up kunais on the ground and in no time thrown them toward the Anbu. The captain replaced himself with a Mokutan Bunshin, wood clone, to flank him from behind. He was in for a surprise when Berserker didn't even turn to his clone, which was riddled with kunais, and caught his left hand with a vice grip. Berserker, while mad, was still a perfect armed master with or without a weapon. With a mighty roar he thrown the captain through the window and didn't even watch as the man sailed through the air. All distractions gone, Berserker simple vanished to his master. "Never again will I shame and betray my master, so as a mere slave and doll shall I live to atone." Meanwhile, the old Hokage was surprised when an ANBU told him Uzumaki Naruto was found and brought to the hospital with Iruka. However, he was alarmed when a report of an armored man brought them in and vanished, only to be found in his Anbu HQ and destroyed an entire squad and his Anbu captain Tenzo. Good news is that they were all alive, only wish they were dead. The old Hokage approached his grandson's room when he felt a dark presence more focused than Kyuubi's presence. He immediately rushed in to protect his charge when he saw the man. Imposing indeed. The man was a sight to be feared, however he was no genin, but a Hokage. His hands were tense, anticipating an attack, but the stranger simple stood next to Naruto unmoving. The black mist covering the man was blinding and he couldn't really see him well, but he man was no even caring. He entered the room. The old ninja leaped a small killing intent at the man, then the man turned to him with his massive killing intent flaring. Before a fight can break off, Naruto mumbled in his bed. Berserker, Don. T. Kill. Any. Nay. The man simple turned and vanished into thin air. Hokage turned to Naruto. "You have a lot of explaining to do, young Naruto, but for now sleep. I hereby purpose. My will shall create thy body." and thy sword shall create my fate. Abiding by the summons of the Holy Grail. If thou dost accede to this will and reason, answer me. I hereby swear, I will be all that is good in the eternal world. I will be the disposer of evil in the eternal world. Naruto dreamt. He saw a hall made of stone and decorated with some kind of banner. The hall led to a large room majestic and bright. There were men lined up making a path in the middle. All these men, warrior, honor-bounded, loyal. Comrades, friends, rivals, and companions. Same goal, to serve the king. Who's the king? In the middle of the room a man? Can't tell, everything is blurry and ruined. Can't see clearly, blue, blonde, like me? No, much lighter, a figure in the middle. Who? Real world. When Naruto woke up, the first thing he saw the familiar ceiling of the hospital. He turned his head around and saw the white wall and the window. Then turned to the other side and saw the wooden door, the table, and a black servant cover in black mist holding a nurse by her neck. Ah, what do you know, a choking nurse, funny, okay, going back to sleep now, Z's. Berserker. Stop, said Naruto as he stood up from the bed. What the hell are you doing? Shouted Naruto. Berserker immediate let the nurse go and turned to his master. The scared nurse ran outside calling for Anbu. A second later the room was surrounded by a squad of Anbu and the Hokage. Naruto-kun, it is good to see that you are awakened. However, we have much to discuss, said the Sandaime. Old man Hokage, I can explain, you see, no, I need to speak with you privately. No ANBUs, said Naruto. Hokage pondered for a few seconds and then nodded. Very well, but his man will be detained to the jail cell until further notice. When the ANBUs approached Berserker to detain him, Naruto calmly whispered, if you don't want to lose your lives in an unnecessary conflict, step back. The ANBUs stopped, their instincts yelling at them to flee. Berserker, sprit form until I call upon you, commanded Naruto as Berserker simply vanished into thin air. Now, to your office, old man. You have a lot of explaining to do, and so do I, said Naruto. In the old man's office, Naruto sat down and slowly remembered everything he learned last night. Flashback, seals, runes, power, hero, summoning, Mizuki, betray, hate, Berserker, I command you. End of rather short flashbacks, if you call this a flashback. So Naruto-kun, please explain what happened. Naruto took a deep breath and considered his option. On one hand, this is the old man, however, would he believe him? Naruto opened his mouth and an epic tale flew out. Few minutes later, so that's what happened, said the Sarutobi. To there was secret that the Uzumakis didn't even know, so Naruto-kun, only your eyes can see that's in the scroll for what it truly is? Asked the Hokage. Not really, because my eyes can show me what the seal I saw can do, its process, its creation, and its brief history, said Naruto. Any Uzumaki is natural at seals and runes, it's just that my understanding is greater than them. My eye also gave me an access to vast library of informations that the clan heads held for generation. It is like having a vast dictionary in your head word for words. Sandaime looked in wonder. A dujutsu, but in all my years knowing the Uzumakis there were no dujutsu. Is it the Kyuubi, or did Naruto gained in rare bloodline limit? Hey, old man, said Naruto. What is it, Naruto-kun? Kyuubi is in my Shiki Funin, right? Made by, his eyes glow, Yondaime-sama. Why me? Asked Naruto. Hokage looked into Naruto's eyes, which held confusion, wonder, hatred, and worry. The Hokage took out his pipe and light the cancer stick with the minor Kaden jutsu. Yondaime had no choice, Naruto-kun, for the Hokage's duty is to the village at all time, said Sandaime as he took a deep breath into his pipe. But why was I chosen to be the bearer of the burden? Asked Naruto. Was it because Uzumaki Kushina said so? How did you? Asked the old man, nearly choking from the smoke. I told you, my eyes can see all to do with the seal, such as the creator. Whoever she was, she helped the Yondaime Hokage to seal Kyuubi in me, didn't she? Someone from my family, an Uzumaki, she decided to sacrifice me, didn't she? An orphan boy from the clan, an easy picking, wasn't I? No, Naruto-kun. Kushina wouldn't never have picked you for such reason, and neither would Minato. Kushina was an Uzumaki who held the burden, which your clan held for 2 generations, which you hold now, said Sandaime. She understood perfectly what she was doing and she shed tears for you. She did care, Naruto-kun. You are no mere sacrifice," explained the Hokage. "I don't believe you. You wouldn't tell me anything." "Why?" Naruto shouted. "You were not ready, Naruto," said the Hokage. "Well, I am now," Naruto interrupted. He turned toward the old man, shown him the back of his hand. On his right hand was a tattoo, shaped like a 3 zigzags spiraling together. "Matu Karya's command seal. With this I command the strongest servant Berserker. With this eyes I shall see and understand all there is to the Uzumaki's power, and with my burden, as a Jinchuriku," whispered Kyuubi, "who can hope to stand against me?" shouted Naruto. The old man's eye turned cold and stared into the young boy. "Don't tempt me, young one, for there was many Jinchurikus and powerful ninjas who fell because of their arrogance," said the old man. "Overconfidence is your greatest enemy and is in the end one of many reasons that can get you killed. No other Jinchurikus, Uzumaki or not, had the power of servant under them," countered Naruto. The old man signed as he considered the dilemma. From what he gathered, the young Naruto commanded a very dangerous being whose power might rival Kyuubi. Not only that, Naruto's eyes are giving him all the information his clan once held as secrets and making him stronger and smarter by the minute. It is making him strong, but arrogant and impatient. He needs some time alone to settle this on his own. "Please listen to me, Naruto-kun. Both your parents were famous ninja who made a large number of enemies, and unfortunately you would have told everyone if you had known that your father was the Yondaime." Naruto froze. His father was the Yondaime Hokage. His idol. His goal, his dream. The dark voice whispered to me. "The one that sealed the Kyuubi inside you. Why did he seal the Kyuubi inside me?" That was the one question the old man had hoped the blonde wouldn't ask. All that he gathered were suspicions and no real reason, and unfortunately none of the suspicions were going to make the boy happy. Sigh, "I don't know why, all I have fewer suspicions." "And those are?" Taking a deep breath, the god of ninja said the one thing that he knew could destroy the blonde's image of father the hero. "To maintain the balance of the Biju," said the man. "To maintain the balance of the Biju?" repeated Naruto. Naruto felt his image of the village and his dream scattered. His once burning passion to be accepted by them dimmed to small ember. His mind in turmoil, which agitated Berserker. Berserker appeared next to Naruto, his eyes flash under the helmet and the mist. Under his killing intent and rage, the tower shook and its inhabitants shivered in primal fear. "Naruto, please calm down. I understand that you feel angry, but please don't hate your father. That night everything was a mess, but your father will never do anything without a good reason." Trying to clear his head, Naruto proceeded to ask another question. "Who is Uzumaki Kushina?" "She was your mother," the old leader said with a sad smile. "She was also the former host of the Kyuubi." Naruto was shocked. His mother was the previous host of the Kyuubi, but that meant. How did she release it? She didn't. You see, Naruto-kun, the seal is always at its weakest during childbirth. The only plausible explanation is that the seal was weakened enough for the beast to escape. That is also one of the reasons why your mother is no longer among the living, the old man explained. "Why? When a Bijus is removed from their hosts will die in process, Naruto-kun." "I see," said Naruto, his tone without strength and dull. Naruto's heart felt dull. His heart never felt so calm and cold. Berserker, in tune with his master, stopped growling and calmly fade into sprit form. "Naruto-kun, I have a deal for you," said the Hokage as the imposing man faded. "Nani?" said Naruto. "Your powers are growing, but not controlled." Naruto nodded. "You need more space and more time to master your skill, so for temporarily you are relieved of your genin rank to a mission to master your new sealing skills." "But what about my team? This is more important," said the Hokage. "Very well. Honestly, being a genin seems uninteresting to Naruto as of now. His power was so interesting, enough to forget about ninjas and study these for now." Naruto stood up, walked toward the door and turned to the Hokage. "I will practice my power somewhere else and I need some money, a lot of money. Can I borrow some for new clothes?" The old man smiled and handed a large amount of money. "Thank you." Naruto was about to walk out when the Hokage stopped him. "Naruto-kun, in the outer area of the village where the Kyuubi forest is, there is an old mansion that your clansmen used to borrow. Go there," said the old man. The Kyuubi forest is the section of the Konoha's land that was now filled with demonic chakra from the Kyuubi attack 13 years ago. The toxic air made many ill and made ninjas lose control of their chakra, so none goes there anymore, but for Naruto it will not hinder him and be a safe place for him to let loose with no civilian casualty. Naruto's eyes told him a new piece of information. Mansion, done, old steelworks, forest, protection, base, home, Ibasho, Ortachi no Honmonibasho, Mamoru, Ortachi no Mano. Place to belong. Our true place to belong, protect, our place, ours. Naruto nodded as he left. Yane, Hokage-sama, whispered Naruto. Outside the Hokage tower, Naruto walked toward the nearest ninja weapons, clothing store and walked up to the counter. He saw a young girl with pink outfit and a two-bun hairstyle, at the counter reading a magazine. She turned and saw him and smiled. "How can I help you, sir?" she asked. "Yes, I am looking for some armored trench coat and black shirts and pants." "Right away, sir." She vanished and he looked around the shop. Naruto's newly arranged mental library made him infinitely smarter than before. Now that he looked at himself, he was a fucking target sign. A style of new clothing will be needed. He looked around the shop. There were weapons of every kind from knives to swords, clubs, spears, and shields. Interesting. His eye of the master glowed and told him. Berserker, Knight of Honor, weapons, need to arm him? Naruhodo, Omoshiroi, Honto ni Omoshiroizo, Berserker, Anata wa Saikyo deshu. Here you go, sir, said the girl. Naruto turned to the bun-haired girl. Ah, arigato gozaimasu Oju-san. After making the purchase, Naruto looked at himself in the mirror. He was out of his hideous orange jumpsuit that screamed, "Kill me," and now in a black shirts and pants, a pair of glove with a large fitting coat over it. Greed, Lin Yao outfit or Kotamine Kirei outfit. His coat reached near his leg and is flipped as he walked. Cool, said Naruto. Soon as he left the store, he went straight to a place he likes to consider my personal area. On top of the Yondaime's head on the Hokage mountain, he stared down at the village that hates him, but his parents died for. His feeling toward Konoha was mixed. On one hand, he wished to let Berserker loose and kill them all. On the other hand, he wished for them to grow beneath his greatness and beg for his help. Personally, he will pay to see the second one. He turned around and Berserker appeared next to him in his intimidating armor. They look so small and frail, Berserker, like a baby bird. Naruto extended his hand toward the village below as if he is about to pick them up. His blue eyes glazed in deep thought. I will wait until this village dance in a tune that interests me, until then I will not help them, Zaydaini. He turned toward his next destination. Let us leave, Berserker. Naruto jumped off the cliff and fell down below. The Berserker's eyes glow red for a moment and he followed to catch his master's fall. At the forest, Naruto was climbing a long set of stairs to reach the top of the hill to get to his clan's home. During the way there he felt the demonic chakra, but it didn't seem to bother me. Berserker seemed to be annoyed though. Naruto stared at the old Japanese-styled mansion in front of him. It was massive with a large wall surrounding it and it had several buildings and even gardens, think Kuchiki clan house Bleach. Clearly no one has been here for years. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Instantly several hundreds of Naruto appeared and ready to work. All of you know what we have to do, so let's fix this place up. Naruto commanded. Hi master, shouted the clone armies. The clones in many groups started to fix and replace parts of the house. The work seemed limitless, but so did Naruto's clones. The real Naruto on the other hand got started with the skills he had been given by his mythic eyes and mental library. He entered the building and found a study that he could use. He added rather simple rune spells that his old clan commonly used on their clothes to reinforce them as hard as steel, and he placed several seals to preserve the cloth and made them fireproof and waterproof. His mind was racing to apply everything his clans once used. His glove was branded with runes of power, shield, and deconstruction to be battle-ready. His shoes were grafted with seals for speed, power, shield, and jump for high-speed agility action. His coat was not only reinforced and protected, it had several storage seals placed for weapons and other items. He even branded himself with several runes like his clothes for protection and power. Back of his neck, which is a blind spot for all creatures, is a powerful barrier used for castle walls. It is powerful enough to withstand Berserker's blow for 10 seconds. But he nearly wet his pants testing it. He used a rune named Kanaz to improve his eyesights to see far away, and I meant far away. He found several research papers on experimental jutsus his clan's later generation worked on. He sent his clones with brush and inks to apply seals all over the mansion. He also placed a seal for detecting intruder and cast a simple barrier detection jutsu for hostiles. He followed the instructions in his blood to upgrade his mansion with sensor and barrier runes. The walls are reinforced to withstand Berserker for less than a minute, and the wall and the floor are rigged with ninja traps and lightning seals. To Berserker it might be useless, but to modern ninjas it will be tough to break. He researched on known dojutsus and made the chakra path within the wall to glow with too much chakra, so those who use special eyes beside himself will be blinded by the light to see anything. Let's see this. Those Hyuga clan try and see that. The walls are also equipped with rune called So Willow, the rune of the sun and the fire, to repel the enemy. He even placed a power barrier just you called Shishi Engine, 4 violet flames battle encampment, to trap enemies from escaping. His clan had some serious jutsu in their library. Making a rune version for the 4-man jutsu was hard, but it seems someone from the clan was already working on it before their ultimate demise. All he had to do was to use Rune Soul and finish the job. He set up several boundary fields around the forest to repel unwanted guests and several detection boundary fields to set up a powerful barrier like the one that cover the village. He even branded local animals such as birds, rodents, and even plants to be eye familiars to see that's going on where they live in and outside the forest. His eyes were everywhere and his fort was impenetrable. His fortress, the Uzumaki mansion, was almost complete. Naruto felt that he deserved an evil laughter and a pat on the back. Only that Berserker pat little too hard. All the preparation and the labor took him 3 months to complete. Around this time Naruto appearance changed as his face took shape like his father with whisker, and his hair has grown long enough to reach his back. He started wear blue hakimka and a white haori at his home and his coat outfit during training. His hair was tied with a hairband Ayame given him during one of his weekly meal at the ramen stand. Naruto turned in his headband and retired from his rather short career as a genin. The Hokage accepted that even as a ninja Naruto holds no village secret beside Kyuubi, so he has no right to refuse his resignation. The poor old man Sarutobi was quilted into this. With no income, Naruto's financial look bleak. Not really. He hasn't had a money problem for some times now. It turned out that he had a rather nifty ability called Golden Rule in the family, which brings good luck in finding wealth. It seems his rank is between C+ and B, which made a lot of casino and gambling halls in Konoha rather poor. Well, tough luck. All he need was some new furniture, food, electronic appliances, and most importantly koi fish for his pound. He used his family's mental library to find out several other skills he inherited beside Golden Rule. His mental information room created a statues chart for him. He was rather surprised how much abilities he had, even if they are rather weak for now. He was sure if he trains hard enough, one day he will have ability to use all to the max. Speaking of training, boom, roars, Berserker, don't hit me that hard. This is training, god damn it. No, no, bloom. Kawaii yo, Hantoni kawaii da yo. Berserker no baka. He trained with Berserker on the day and study at night. While Berserker and he couldn't talk, their mind was so well matched Berserker obeyed him perfectly. According to Kyuubi, yes, he talked with the furball, accidentally mind you. It was because as a host of Kyuubi he has massive amount of power to raise Berserker's mad enhancement to rank A. At rank A, Berserker is so well linked to Naruto it is like controlling a perfect doll or extension to his body. But they somehow argue too. So you think this idea is no good? Eyes glow red. Okay, I'll get rid of the orange wallpaper. The ramen stays, no argument. Eyes glow red, turns off, and glows again. What? But it cut into my personal rest time. Berserker. Glow, fade, glow, fade, glow brighter. Come, one gave me a break. Fine, ramen will be eaten during 1 meal a day. Nothing more, nothing less. Eyes glow. But the amount I eat during that time is determined by me. Eyes glow. Deal. As a master of all weapons, Berserker was a silent but perfect teacher. Naruto and Berserker exchanged blows with their katanas. Naruto's blade was battered and chipped, But Berserker's sword was black with veins over them. The blade never looked so sharp. That Knight of Honor is unfair. Berserker. Roar. While not perfect on unarmed, Berserker beat Naruto several skills to improve his horrible academy taijutsu with something more effective. His style is something like Bazet, Soichiru style. Naruto kicked Berserker over his head only to be blocked and tossed over a tree. Naruto's runes glow as he planted his feet into the trunk and jumped off. Naruto's fist glow with pale blue light as he threw rapid fist toward Berserker and aimed at his neck, ribs, and eyes. Berserker was wearing an armor so it didn't seem to affect him. But Berserker's punch did. Roar. Berserker sent his master sailing through the air in Air Berserker where the passengers may land in afterlife, but it showed nice scenery of the Kyuubi forest. Naruto visited the village time to time. He watched some Junin with a thick eyebrows trained a clone of him in the village training ground before. He studied what they were doing and combined with his own developing style. He regularly went to the weapon shop for supplies. Using runes to fool them to forget that he was registered genin helped. Naruto regularly brought a large quantity of weapons from the local ninja weapon store. He stored them all in the summoning scrolls, arms, and his coat. He even added summoning seals on Berserker to summon multiple weapons like katanas, spears, axes, kunais, chains, shurikens, and more. Berserker was truly the strongest. As months go by, Naruto understood Berserker better. However, you still wouldn't let me undo the veil of madness? Eyes glow. Growl. I understand you are on purposely hanging on to the madness and turning yourself into a doll. Berserker. Snarl. I still haven't got your name. Berserker. Why? Why would you want to be driven crazy to a point of being a killing doll? Berserker didn't reply. Naruto decided to wait for Berserker to be ready. Berserker class isn't given for no reason after all. It is a class only given to heroes or anti-heroes who was driven mad through an event in life or was bewitched to do so. Whatever Berserker is hiding, it's for Berserker to reveal. All he seen in Berserker's servant chart using the Eye of the Master was rather blurry and unclear. All he managed to confirm was that Berserker has one seriously sweet noble phantasm named Knight of Honor. A power to make anything he holds into rank D noble phantasm. What Naruto will do to have the same power? Now as for Naruto personal runes and seals research. Berserker, get me the fuck out of here. Boom. Crash. Ka boom. Several labs suffered. Many clones died. Hold your grounds ladies. Boom. Hold the barrier until the boss is safe. Boom. Surge. We lost clone number 2552. ARUGH. Tears falling. This is not death. This is for the future for all our clone brothers. A future where the barrier cracked. We can be more than a barriers leaking the high dangerous energy blast, clone. Many clone had to die, but it was not in vain. Naruto's knowledge with seals, runes, and his special chakra improved and his personal researches has gone beyond copying his ancestors. He no longer used his mythic eyes regularly to enter the mental library, and even without the instant knowledge he understood the runes by heart. Of course some runes are simple impossible for him to learn for they were built especially for the creator. But does also mean he has to research to make it his. His Cage Bunchins in Research and Development Unit can solve that soon enough. His clones are split into several units such as R&D, Intelligence, Messenger, Housework, and Combat. Each unit is made of modified Cage Bunchins with runes and uniforms to match. For the R&D clones they're built to use the mythic eyes for long times, but made rather frail for combat. Their uniform is made of white lab coats, like the ones they use in Bleach. Intelligence, Messenger unit is made of clones modified for extreme presence concealment and long-lasting for travel. Their uniform is black stealth clothes and light armors with skull masks. Housework unit are more combat-ready than the Intelligence unit and made to be a house staff. Their modification includes absolute obedience and high performance in housework. Their uniforms are rather simple. A white hakamas and some aprons. Finally Combat unit clones, the battalion of modified clones with many combat runes the real Naruto uses. They are guards, patrols, trackers, and hunters of his forest. Simple blows would displace them and they are made to perform Cage Bunshin Daibakuden Jutsu, Shadow Clone Great Explosion, at the end of their life spans against his enemy. Naruto also continued his ninja training. He studied the scroll in the clan house and mastered water walking and tree climbing. Using his clones and ability known as Librarian of Stored Knowledge, Renke, he remembered all their experience, and in short 3 months he improved to impossible level. According to his studies and tests, his chakra was wind-natured, so he studied several wind-style techniques. Futon. Repusho, wind release, gale palm. Futon. Kazikiri, wind release, wind cutter. Futon. Suir and Repu, wind release, verdant mountain violent wind. Futon. Kaiden shuriken, wind release, rotating shuriken. Futon. Daitopa, wind release, great breakthrough. Futon. Renkuden, wind release, drilling air bullet. Naruto loved how the wind chakra fused into his weapons, because it helps evening out the odds when he's spared with Berserker. Just a little crash. He was so inspired he even put a wind seal on his coat to move dramatically when he moved. Life was good for Uzumaki Naruto. However, not everything was so smooth. In the dead of the night, several figures were approaching a mansion up in the hill. They were an Anbu squad selected by Lord Hokage to deliver a news to the residents. Hokage-sama want the young man who live here to join their shinobi ranks, however. I seem to found a group of rats in my home. A voice ring around the dark forest. The ANBSs stopped in their track watching for the voice. I thought I told the old man that the village no longer interests me, or has the old age finally made him gone senile? One of the rookie Anbu was agitated. Silence, demon. We are here under the order of Sandame Hokage-sama. Uzumaki Naruto is to report to the Hokage Tower for reinstallation to the shinobi force immediately. Oh? The voice sounded amused. Korawa, Tenzo-san. It seems you have a new rookie in your squad. Did some of your old squad retired after seeing Berserker? The captain of the squad said nothing. Ma'i Deshu. Some fears are fresher than others, if they do not see terror for what it is. Naruto appeared in the tree above them. In his dark clothing and coat he stared down at the group of elite warriors. Then I must simply remind them the true terror, in a form of absolute power. Naruto's eyes seemed bored and annoyed. I told the old man to send no to my forest. Unless approved, it seems Berserker gets a new playmate. Naruto raised his hand about to summon Berserker. Tenzo was shaken and pleaded. Naruto. Dono, please calm down. Our order was to deliver this letter to ask you to reconsider. Hokage-sama means no harm. Naruto looked at the captain. True, very true, I might be too hasty. However, that mongrel called me a demon. How can I allow a worm to call me with such insult and leave freely? Also, it is against the old man's law regarding me and Kyuubi, so I am doing you a favor. Step aside, Tensho-san. The trash needs to be punished. Tenzo quickly shook his head. No, Naruto Dono, disciplining a foolish rookie is my responsibility. Please retrain from summoning that man. Naruto considered, smirked, then smiled. Sure, no problem, don't be so tense, Tenzo-san. If you get too stressed you will grow white hairs, you know. Naruto stood up. Tell the old man Hokage I don't feel like dealing with the village right now, so can bait nay, ya nay. Naruto gave him a wave and a foxy smile. Ichimaru Jin smile bleached, then vanished. Tenzo felt he lost a few years from his lifespan. He was going to put that rookie through hell for this. There is nothing worth going against that monster. Hokage-sama even labeled that man as a true tailless Biju. After a month or so Naruto made a heavy decision. Life was peaceful. Life was simple. For a few days or so, Naruto was reading a research note when he called upon Berserker. The Black Knight appeared next to his master in attention. Berserker, I want to summon a hero without Kyuubi's help. Eyes glow. No, you are not being replaced. Eyes glow. Just trying to do this on my own. Eyes glow. It's not that hasty, it's just a test. Eyes glow. But having a hero as a gatekeeper will be awesome. Beside, you never talk, so it feels like I am talking to myself. Complained Naruto. Eyes glow. I am not being insensitive. Eyes glow. Naruto closed his book. Let's get it started, Berserker. Roar. A roar filled the forest. Life was really good for Uzumaki Naruto. I hereby purpose. The summoning circle glow in blue. My will shall create thy body. Naruto's eyes were closed and his breath calm. and thy sword shall create my fate. His hand was closed tight and his shoulders stiff, abiding by the summons of the Holy Grail. Behind the circle stood Berserker, who was ordered to attack if the summoning was hostile. If thou dost accede to this will and reason, answer me. Naruto's brow was filled with sweat. I hereby swear, I will be all that is good in the eternal world. Inside his cage Kyuubi slowly opened his eyes. I will be the disposer of evil in the eternal world. What is the brat doing now? Summoning again. Well, he is in for a surprise if he think he can do on his own without my help. Said the beast. Thou clad with the great trinity, come forth from the circle of constraint. Failure to summon properly in 3, 2. Guardian of the heavenly scales. 1. Ka Bloom. The familiar blast of light and smoke filled the ritual chamber. Naruto turned toward the summoning circle, anticipating on what he summoned on his own. As the smoke cleared, a figure stood in front of him. He was tall and rather slender, dressed in an elegant violet hakama and haori. His hair a long ponytail tied with a thin ribbon. His face was smooth yet angular and set with 2 dark blue eyes that regarded him with calm eyes. By thy calling I was summoned, with the class of assassin. The man bowed down to Naruto. So I ask thee, are you my master? The man asked. Naruto surprised to hear a voice from the servant. He answered elegantly as a master should. I am, yes. Servant, I am your master. See, elegance. So I see, very well, as of today my sword is yours and my loyalty to your cause, for that is my oath. Reply the samurai. Naruto looked at the samurai in front of him with look of wonder. A servant that can talk, with a sword? To Naruto, who'd been living in silence for some time, was a big surprise for a servant to talk instead of roar. Wait, what class are you again? Master, I was summoned with the class of assassin. Assassin? Said Naruto, but aren't you a samurai? How can you be an assassin class servant? Naruto was about to continue when he was interrupted. You screwed up the summoning, that's what. Said the beast of rage and hatred. What do you mean? Questioned Naruto. When you were summoning, once again you failed to use an item as an anchor for a hero. Not only that, your lack of mastery over your special chakra and imbalance between your normal chakra made an error in the summoning ritual which failed to get you a servant that is alike you. Kyuubi muttered. You were a fool to think summoning is easy as your clan's simple rune works. To you mastering runes and seals are natural, because of your bloodline and the mythic eyes. The instant understanding made all-knowing in terms of runes, however it doesn't mean you can control a summoning ritual yet. The beast's voice became louder. Abandon your arrogance, human. You are nothing but an ant to me and you dare try to summon a being great as I only after 4 months of training. Mastering mere human art is simple. But don't look down upon us superior beings, Naruto. For a human your progress is astonishing, however a human is in the end a human. The power you carelessly try to achieve requires more than what your silly cage bunshins can help you. You lack the time and understanding, but the fact that you try to make up for it with your clones are admireable. However, your little shortcut is only capable of overcoming mere human limits, not the limits US Sprits have achieved for hundreds of years. You have become powerful, Naruto, but being powerful among human is easy. All that you have accomplished could have been achieved if your parents were alive. If Kushina was alive, your current level would be much less of a surprise. I praised on becoming so strong, so soon, but to summon a hero is no easy task to a true Uzumaki head. What made you think you were so special to summon a hero only after 4 months? 4 months. Naruto was shook and unable to move as Kyuubi's harsh scolding rings in his head. So, what have I summoned, Kyuubi? Asked nervous Naruto. Kyuubi calmed down and looked through Naruto's eyes with Kyoyu Chikaku, shared perception. This is not a proper heroic spirit, but a false hero. Said Kyuubi. A false hero? A hero whose existence cannot be proven even with stories of men. Kyuubi continued. A wraith that take form combining several ideas and fantasy, a fictional hero. Naruto returned to Assassin and asked him. Assassin, tell me, are you a true hero? Assassin had an amused smile and answered. It is as you suspect, my master. I am not a proper servant of the throne of hero, but a wraith that take form tales of nameless swordsmen. He said, I hold no real name, but I call myself Sasaki Kojiru. Sasaki, Kojiru, repeated Naruto. If Naruto said that he was no disappointed, he would be lying to himself. He thought he had everything perfectly done, but only to see such result. His training with Berserker made him so much powerful, his eyes told him everything he wanted. All formal training a funinjutsu masters go through was no needed for him. He had no formal training, but only in 4 months he became a skilled master. He became conceited. It disgusted him, and yet, if there is anyone worth being arrogant, isn't it he? He wanted to be stronger than anyone in the world. He was the host of the strongest tailed beast in the world. He had Berserker, the strongest servant. He wanted to be the one to look down on all those who scorned him. He wanted to be a king, someone that is more important than the others. His father was the Yondaime Hokage. In shinobi world, it's equivalent to a royalty. He wanted to be strongest, like Berserker, to be the strongest. Saikyo? Saikyo, 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 Saikyoda. To be the greatest, to reach the highest, to reach the furthest, to attain the most, to be admired most, to be feared the most, to be loved the most, to accomplish everything the world has to offer, by to become the best, to be the strongest. He shook his head side to side, calming himself. His ambition can be dealt with later, now he need to see to his new servant. He is a master of Uzumaki clan, he must do what he must. Yar, such a blunder. Well, it matters not, assassin. Welcome to Uzumaki Mansion, where heroic spirits from the long ancient past are common sight, with few fights and explosions. It seems I gotten myself an interesting master, wondered Assassin. Assassin can feel the connection to his master. His master was radiating great deal of mana and something else. Darker, foul, but powerful. This was no Holy Grail war. He was summoned by a being who doesn't need the Grail's support to summon him. Just by being connected to him he felt so much stronger. His stats as a false servant should gave him nearly no power up, but he felt so powerful. He can feel that kind of man his master is. A thought of kindness, followed by distorted mind. His face hides the great ambition he held. It was fine, it was the duty of a servant to obey the master and a duty of samurai to serve his lord. If he wants the world, he shall support him. That was his oath, to give his master his loyalty and his skill. Long as he gets to face powerful enemies, worthy adversaries, then he will have no regret. Oh, speaking of strong and worthy adversaries. Master he was cut off by Naruto. Just call me Naruto. Assassin nodded. Naruto-sama, who this man who is releasing such dense Ken-ki, sword aura. Naruto glanced at Berserker. That is Berserker, my first servant. For a Berserker he retained all his skills, however despite my control over him he refuses to show me his true sword. True sword? Asked Kojiru. Kojiru, you should be able to sense it, the massive power coming from Berserker's back. Berserker's black mist cover him from normal view and the vision of master, but one with high-level sense can sense a presence of a Shinken, true blade. Ho, it would be an honor to face such a weapon and its wielder. Said Assassin. No fighting in the mansion. Said Naruto. He never said they can't fight outside the mansion. Naruto lead Assassin to the front gate of the mansion and turned to face him. Well, Assassin, here is your first order. Said Naruto. The reason I summoned you is to protect this mansion and the forest around it. My first servant Berserker is not suited for long-term mission alone and away from me, so I can't use him as a main gate guardian. Naruto pointed his thumb back to the mansion. Berserker simply uses too much power and he is my final trump card in defense, so I can't carelessly send him away. However, another servant might be able to do so. He finished. Naruto's left hand had a command seal of Assassin which looked like 3 wings of a bird intertwining. Servant Assassin, Sasaki Kojiru, I command you with the power of the command seal present to me. Protect this gate from all intruders and unwanted guests with powers beyond your ability. One of the 3 command seal faded. While I acknowledge your command, master, why have you used a command seal so soon? Asked Assassin. Naruto smiled and pointed toward the Kyuubi forest. This forest is known as Kyubi Forest, because when the demon attacked my village over 13 years ago, a massive amount of its yuki was corrupting this area. Explained Naruto. Because of that, no one can live here, and thus this has become a perfect place for our home, where we wouldn't have many visitors. However, we do get some troublesome visitors and Berserker might kill them, so I set you up to guard the gate. Naruto put a hand to his hip and raised the other in a lecture pose. The yuki in the wood can cause ninjas to lose certain amount of focus and it hinders their chakra control. This forest can even affect servants' power. However, the stairway to the front gate is protected by a rune to purify the demon energy. Assassin nodded at the reasoning. Only way for them to come inside is through the front gate, and I need an appropriate guardian there. The command seal is tied to me and this gate, so if someone is to approach my house they will head here. They will go through my boundary field, and then commands placed on you will immediately alert you to defend the gate. Naruto dramatically pointed to Assassin. If any skilled enemies approach this land, then they must confront you. With this command you can alert it at all time even if you are nowhere near the forest. Naruto gave Assassin a calm look. Assassin, you are not completely bounded to this gate and you can go to the village below at your own will, however don't leave the gate unprotected for too long or too often. Said Naruto. I understand perfectly my master, said Assassin with a bow. Very well, then to the most important matter. And that is, master? Asked Assassin. A test, answered Naruto. Naruto suddenly rushed at Assassin in burst of speed followed by a brutal jump kick. Assassin ducked below the kick and immediately drawn his sword. He parried all of Naruto's reinforced punches and kicks, but Naruto slowly pushed him to a wall. Kojiru Simple jumped off the wall with a swiping slash and turned the flow of the battle by taking the offensive. Now Naruto was on the defensive and was pushed back. What an annoying sword, with such a long blade. His reach are greater than mine, however. Thought Naruto. Naruto swayed and ducked underneath the swing and got right into Kojiru's guard. Once I am in the open guard, shouted Naruto. He nearly missed the smirk on Kojiru's face. Naruto's eyes widened as he used the rune's support on instant high speed to move away from an impossible swing from an impossible angle. Why? How? Naruto stared at Assassin to notice anything amiss there. For an instant, less than a millisecond, Assassin took a step back as I dug into his guard. By switching his stance, by taking a step back, I enter his range from a return swing. He baited me to enter his guard to put me in a position to be countered. Clever, well played, Assassin. Why, you are too kind, master, answered Assassin with a smile. Naruto suddenly summoned a ninjutsu from his coat and vanished in front of Assassin. Assassin Simple stood guard to watch for any movements. Naruto trained with Berserker every day. For every clone that died, he gained a priceless experience. His skill grown far and beyond, but he never landed a blow on Berserker. Honestly, that guy was too strong. You had to be retarded and dumb to not get seriously stronger by training with Berserker for few months. Naruto in front of Assassin puffed into smoke, signaling it was a clone. Assassin's eyes widened at the famous shinobi jutsu from his previous lifetime, the Bunshin Jutsu. Naruto's blade burst from the ground under Assassin and the servant Simple swayed away and swung his sword. Naruto barely caught the blade with his reinforced coat and countered with a thrust with the ninjutsu. Kojiru saw the counter and Simple sidestep from the stab attack. Naruto twisted his stance and unleashed a reinforced black kick to Assassin's stomach. Assassin didn't resist the blow and jumped back along with the kick to reduce its power, negating it. Naruto didn't surrender his momentum and continued to attack with rapid kicks and punches. Naruto invoked the wind chakra to cover his blade and clashed against Kojiru's Manahoshizao. Assassin's eyes widened as he saw a scratch appeared on Manahoshizao's blade. Naruto smirked. Where are you looking at, Assassin? This test is nowhere near over. Naruto made a quick hand seals. Futon. Kazekiri, wind release, wind cutter. He took a swipe with his sword, unleashing a wind blade at Assassin. Assassin gracefully avoided the deadly blades. Naruto made another set of hand seals. Futon. Kaden Shuriken, wind release. Rotating shuriken. Naruto blow wind chakra into a shuriken in his hand, which charged into a wind shuriken, Danzo's jutsu. Naruto fired the jutsu at Assassin and prepare another Kaden shuriken. Assassin Simple ducked the first blow and looked at the second incoming shuriken. Assassin jumped over the second shuriken as stabbed his Monohoshizao into the hole of the shuriken. He kept the shuriken spinning on his sword and returned fire toward his master. Naruto, smirking at his new servant's plan, rewarded him with a hasty mated jutsu. Futon. Renkuden, wind release, drilling air bullet. The air bullet was weaker than normal, but it smashed through the Kaiden shuriken and head straight to Kojuru. Assassin Simple closed his eyes and suddenly, in an idealistic, perfect kendo slash, cut the air bullet into two, crashing somewhere behind him. Assassin saw his master's smirk widen and going through another set of seals. Futon, only for Assassin to interrupt with a Tasuki, a kendo technique that is a stab to the throat. Naruto abandoned his jutsu and dodged the stab. Kojuru followed the attack with a slash to the belly, only for Naruto to substitute with a log. Naruto appeared several yards away from Kojuru. Naruto quickly made a set of hand seals. Futon. Renkuden, wind release, drilling air bullet. Naruto fired a full-powered drilling air bullet again and again. Kojuru ducked and dodged the dangerous air bullets. He slowly closed the distance between his master. Naruto invoked the rune of speed on his arms and summoned another ninjutsu. In furry storm of motion, Naruto launched a blade dance at Kojuru. To an amateur's eye, Kojuru couldn't survive the storm of slashes unscratched, however the servant proven otherwise. Kojuru's counters and swings were a masterpiece, a perfect swing like a brushstroke of an artist and a tone of an instrument. In their furious exchange, unrelenting and unforgiving, the duo traded blows after blows, but surely Kojuru's skill and graceful technique were overwhelming Naruto. Two blades and brute strength. This guy, from the beginning he had no presence of any kind, no killing intent, no chakra, no power, and yet, such pure and outstanding skills. Thought Naruto. It seems master is no only a practice of ninjutsu, but also in kenjutsu, most likely from Berserker Dono. However, his Nightoryu seems rather rushed. Thought Assassin. This is what I want to see. Sasaki Kojura, yelled Naruto as he thrown his two blades at Kojuru. Nozomu Takoro Deshu. So do I'd agree, shouted Assassin. Assassin Simple parried the two projectiles away, but Naruto's instant speed rune caught him off guarded. Naruto's right gloves glow in blue lights and wind gathered. Strong fist. Roaring fist trembling heaven, called out Naruto as he was a second away from slamming his massive wind chakra-focused airhammer on Kojuru. Naive, yelled Kojuru as in blinding speed he stepped into Naruto's open left side, avoiding the punch completely. Kojuru simply stepped deep inside and rammed the back of his Monohoshizao's hilt to Naruto's forehead. W.Wa. T, said Naruto as his attack was completely countered with pure skill. The momentum he gathered in his attack was used against him in a simple step and attack. So graceful, so gentle, so devastating. Though Naruto, as Naruto was launched into the air, he wondered in daze. Right, he is a servant for a reason, real or not. Hey, Kyuubi, I don't regret summoning him. I see, Kit, I see, muttered the fox. These were his final thought before he lost his conscience. Few moments later, "Oh, that hurt," said Naruto as he stood up from the ground. "How are you feeling, master?" said the voice. Naruto turned toward the voice and saw Assassin kneeling down few feet from him. "I kind of deserve that, Awa, you are strong, Assassin," said Naruto. "It was nothing, master," said Kojuru. Naruto turned to Kojuru. "I am glad you are strong, Kojuru. When I summoned you I felt nothing coming from you, so I thought I failed completely. But seeing your skill, you are perfect, Kojuru. From now on aid me with all your skill." "Yes, my master," answered the samurai. "Now, Assassin, the final thing to do." Naruto started to release large amount of killing intent, which made Assassin alert, expecting another fight. Naruto's eyes were red and demonic energy slowly surfaced. In a disturbed voice, mixed with rough demonic tone, Naruto said to Kojuru, "Servant Assassin Sasaki Kojirou, prepare yourself for afternoon tea and it's time to feed the koi fishes." "Let's go," said Naruto as the demonic power faded as if it was never there. Assassin had a sweat drop on the back of his head. "What an interesting master." The purple-robed samurai smiled and he followed his rather whimsical master back into the mansion. "I am altering the servant's stats and rank, but it kind of makes sense." Don't worry, later on Naruto will have a lot of strong enemies to balance out, later on anyway. For now overkill.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.